Hello, folks, and welcome to your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle, The Ben Show. I am your host, Rebecca Warner, a.k.a. Beck, and as always, you know we love hearing from you all, your comments, your stories, your ideas, your questions. You can get a hold of us anytime. Call or text 305-900-2363. Again, that's 305-900-2363. Or you can always email us at benradioshow@gmail.com. Again, that's benradioshow@gmail.com. Riding along shotgun, as always, is my producer, sound engineer, and co-host, Jeff Tigger Earhart. Now, how many of you are like us, where the Olympics is on, and you're probably hearing and learning more about Paris, France, than you have ever learned in your life?
It's been a lot of fun watching the Olympics this year.
It really has.
They've been going to different events. And normally they just go and they focus on one and that's all you watch, but they've been jumping around to different events. That's why I think this is a little bit more fun watching than other years.
Well, and I appreciate it too because the Olympics, and you think about the Olympic Village, it's not in just one area. So they might be having, like, we've watched some of the triathlon races and such, which takes you all around the city of Paris. But then you go for the equestrian side of it and you end up out in the Palace of Versailles, where they put in this beautiful equestrian center at the Palace of Versailles, of all places.
Now I know why you know so much of this. You have been to Paris.
I have been to France a few times. I even went to school over there when I was in college for a summer. And so I have gotten to travel around. I've went there for work as well, of course. But yes, I have traveled around.
I just happened to go to Paris a few times.
I've toured the Palace of Versailles a few times. I've been to the top of the Eiffel Tower. They're all memorable spots that I recommend everybody going. Okay, you got to check it out.
Well, yeah, we'll just jump in our private jet, everybody, and go over to Paris, where Beck's been so many times.
I guarantee the airline prices will be much cheaper after the Olympics have wrapped.
Right.
Okay, but this does have me thinking. How many of you remember the movie Pulp Fiction? Now, I know it is rated it's rated R, all right? So probably not everyone's watched it. But
Samuel L. Jackson and
yes.
John Travolta.
Yes.
Got it.
Pulp Fiction, I think, oh my gosh, I think it came out 30 years ago. Yeah, as I'm thinking through this, 1994, Pulp Fiction. All right, the two are driving down the car and they're driving down the road in the car, and they're talking about the differences between the United States and Europe. And at one point, John Travolta talks about going into McDonald's and ordering a Royale with cheese.
A Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese. Any idea what that would be, Tigger?
Well, you say with cheese, so I'm going to guess it's a burger.
You
hamburger,
got it.
A cheeseburger, I guess.
That is what they call it. If you were in Paris, you would go into McDonald's and order a Royale with cheese.
I think there's been some fast food chains have coined some of their burgers or their promo burgers with Royale. That kind of sounds familiar now that you bring that up.
Maybe, especially after Pulp Fiction came out, the movie.
Right.
If you went to Germany, it would be a Hamburg Royale. So the reason why is because Europe doesn't follow the same customary measuring system as we would. If McDonald's,
they're metric,
correct,
aren't they? And we're standard.
Right. So if McDonald's would have opened a store there and said, "Oh, here, order a quarter pounder," everyone would have been like,
they didn't know what was going on. Okay.
But what I love about McDonald's over there is if you go and order a Royale with cheese, you can order it with a beer.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like a Happy Meal?
Well, I don't think they'd sell a Happy Meal, but they'll sell you a value meal that comes with, and it's not just like
so
a cheap.
Instead of getting a Coca-Cola, you can get a beer.
Yeah, and it's not like a cheap little size, little tiny glass of beer. It's like a true glass of beer.
So is it warm or is it cool over there?
Beers are typically about room temperature.
About room temperature. Okay.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm one of those.
But still, you can order a beer, and that's
likes
awesome.
Room temperature beer. So, all right, let's change gears and jump into some news, shall we? Minnesota lawmakers recently passed legislation that paves the way for making flying cars legal. The so-called Jetson Law officially defines a roadable aircraft as a vehicle that can both fly and drive on public highways. Flying drivers will be able to use tail numbers in lieu of traditional license plates, and it turns out that New Hampshire has also passed a similar law.
This is kind of dumb.
I'm just shocked by this. You know, we're all supposed to be getting used to AI right now, and now if you watch the Terminator movies from 30 years ago.
It's all coming true. They're going to take them.
Exactly. And now they're saying the Jetsons law, and the Jetsons called this out back in the 60s.
So the government's got flying cars in a bunker somewhere.
Exactly.
They're not telling
They
us
just now
about
told
it.
us.
Got to wait for that certain episode of The Simpsons, and they predict the future.
Oh my gosh, we are not going to be living by what the Simpsons say, Tigger,
Hey, everything
okay?
that's on that cartoon is coming true.
Price increases. This is what I've got for you. Chocolate prices are rising once again. It turns out that Nestle's chocolate prices are rising due to increased cocoa costs. Consumers will start noticing higher prices between now and Christmas. This is due to cocoa prices tripling in the first quarter of 2024. For example, Kit Kat bars are expected, to become more expensive almost immediately. And Lindt, if you're familiar with the Lindt chocolates that a lot of times you get at Christmas, they're warning consumers now about a global chocolate slowdown due to poor harvests and high prices. So now you know, in case you're wanting to get any of that candy bought right now before your Christmas baking starts.
Well, when you go to the gas station and you fill diesel, you can't hardly afford to buy a candy bar in the first place.
I pass them up all the time because of how expensive they've gotten.
Exactly right.
And I hate to say this, your morning coffee, it might spike as well because coffee prices are saying they're going to soar. Major coffee retailers are expected to increase prices due to high demand and low supply. They're saying high-end beans used by Starbucks and other chains have spiked in price due to supply disruptions, from Vietnam to Brazil. The cost for Robusta beans, for example, which are used for instant coffee, are at their highest since the 1970s. So I hate to say that cup of joe might cost you a little bit more than usual. Now, this next one for you. The Daily Express says sleep experts believe many people are sleeping incorrectly during the current heat wave that is engulfing the United States. They recommend wearing thin, loose cotton clothing to stay cool instead of sleeping naked.
Oh, they don't want you to skin your britches.
No! They say the clothes actually wick away sweat, and choosing the right foods like cold salads, chilled soups, and fruits can also help lower your body's temperature in this hot weather.
Okay, I can kind of see that because our grandparents that wore long handles, and the hotter it got, the more they put on. So you'd start to sweat, but it would insulate and cool you off when the breeze would hit you.
Yeah,
I can see that.
That's
that makes
exactly
sense.
kind of what I was thinking. So that's right. I'm bringing out the old granny nightgown, Tigger.
I'm bringing out the one handles if that's the case.
All right, dating. I thought I would share this scam just to keep everybody on the up and know, okay? Turns out there was a Tinder dating scam that ended up costing a Tennessee woman $100,000. The Tennessee woman was scammed by a man she met on Tinder. The man claimed he was attacked in Nashville and needed money. The woman proceeded to send him over $100,000 over the course of 2 months. And sadly, authorities believe it's unlikely the suspect will ever be caught. So yes, you see all of these online dating apps and such. Just make sure you vet people out. Make sure you're not sending money without having ever met them in person. Might even want to meet their mother first.
Right? I mean, nothing wrong with those online dating apps, but yeah, just be careful.
Just be on the
$100,000 on that one.
Yeah, that's a little scary. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're talking about trail cameras and doing a little bit of research and development on our gear. This is The Ben Show. We'll be back right after this.
It has been quite a run on the Ben Radio Show. Now, here's an interesting question for y'all. Several listeners reached out and wanted to have more Western history and Western lifestyle on the show from time to time. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? Give us your input. Or are there topics that you want Beck to cover? What are your favorites? We want to hear from you. Our listeners are from all corners of the country, actually all corners of the globe for that matter. So weigh in and let us know. BenRadioShow@gmail.com or call and text us at 305-900-2363.
You've waited, dreamt of a hunting adventure, and now have harvested that trophy of a lifetime. Keep the memory alive with a custom-designed mount, preserved as a work of art. Check out our approved taxidermist depending on your location. The award-winning Schneider Taxidermy is located in Helena, Montana. When hunting the Dakotas, JB's Wildlife Designs in Mandan, North Dakota. Then Shadron Creek Taxidermy in Nebraska. And for the Central USA, Little Rack Taxidermy in Macomb, Illinois. Reach out to The Ben Show and let us help you find the right taxidermist. This is Beck. first, I appreciate all of you for listening and making The Bend part of your week. Many of you have asked, how do I catch past episodes? The answer is super easy. Head to thebendshow.com and click on the shows tab. There you can listen to every episode all the way back to episode 1. Podcasters, head to your favorite podcasting app and search The Bend. You'll find us. Be sure to follow and subscribe and never miss another episode again. Welcome back, folks, to your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle news, The Bend Show. I am your host, Rebecca Warner, a.k.a. Beck. The topic of discussion right now I want to sit down and visit with you about is trail cams. Trail cameras, that's what we're talking about. Using trail cameras have become so popular over the years that we hear of hunters at times even leaving them up year-round. And if you are not one of those that have your trail cameras up year-round, or you are one of those that do, you're going to find our next discussion here as I have one of our Bend field staffers, Travis Theel, guide and outfitter and host of the YouTube channel Buckstorm, on the line. We're going to be talking about it a little bit here in just a second, but for right now, just like the rest of you, it's been hot as heck here. Travis, how is it there?
Oh, yeah, it just makes a person want to just stay inside in the AC, but there's a lot to do in the coming months here before seasons start to kick off.
Well, and I've been watching your social media feed, and you've been already busy.
Trying to go early in the morning to beat the heat, more or less, but we've been out doing that, setting trail cameras, a little bit of everything, just getting ready for season. It seems like every year it just creeps up on a person so fast. You think you have all this time, and next thing you know, we're only a month away from a lot of seasons opening, so it's pretty crazy. But
you just nailed it when you said you're already setting up your trail cam. So you're saying it's not too soon to get out there and start setting trail cams up.
Right. I figure if you already have the cameras, they're not going to take any pictures in your garage cabinet or wherever you keep them. So you might as well have them up.
Yep.
Watch them grow, and you might get a little surprise that you weren't expecting, or you might find something big that maybe disappears on you that you wouldn't have known was there, and now you can spend a little extra time trying to track them down before season. But I mean, it's never too early in my opinion, but it's also important to kind of change where you're targeting throughout the summer, because even in the summertime when you're not hunting them, they change behavior. Of course, when it's 100 degrees for 2 weeks straight, they're going to be favoring water in the evenings and overnight hours, and maybe even in the early morning hours. So I put almost 100% of our cameras on main water sources this time of year. Try to find pockets where there's less water, where it kind of forces the deer, elk, or whatever you're after they're coming to drink out of one particular water tank. Or if there's a spring, it's a little trickier because they can drink anywhere along that spring. So, but having it in that spring valley, essentially to catch where they're coming to and from. But then as you roll like into September, if you get a big rain and it cools off, water might be a little less important. So then it's important to move those around a little bit, with the climate and what's going on. I feel like anyhow.
So I would almost say right now is a great time to first off check and see how many cameras you have, make sure they're working. Sometimes you can even just set them up in your yard and check them with your dogs, your pets, or whatnot. But I'm with you on moving them and how important those water sources are, and how you're right. They do. The wildlife adapt just like you and I would. If we're hot, we're going to go near where the water is. If we're not, we're going to adventure a little bit further out and such things like that. But then on top of it, I know you caught some recent pictures of elk at night. Have you been noticing that you see maybe a little more game moving in the evening during the night hours versus the day?
Yeah, definitely. They're pretty much full-blown nocturnal right now with this kind of temperature. They're finding a cool, shady place during the day, and they might hop up right before dark. I mean, we do have some daytime pictures, but most of them are, half an hour before dark into the night hours, and it seems like they spend a little extra time at water. We even have some that have hit a water hole right before dark and then disappeared and came back shortly before sunrise and got another drink. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
Kind of interesting to see. Not that you can hunt them at night, but you know that
Yeah.
water's important, and they're kind of double dipping probably because then they don't have to get another drink until the following night. So they don't have to move as much during the heat of the day that way. I don't know if they're smart enough to process that, but they sure seem to be, you know.
Well, and it might not be that they're smart enough. It could just be their common sense and nature taking over, too.
Exactly. One way or another, they know. So.
Thank you, Travis, for the insight.
We
Appreciate
haven't heard from
it.
Travis for a while, have we?
I know, and it's
Good to hear
always
from him.
great having him on the show. Again, that was Travis Theel from Buckstorm. Be sure to head to buckstormhunts.com if you'd love to book a hunt with Travis and his crew, and also subscribe to their YouTube channel, Buckstorm. Now, while we're talking about preparing right now and dealing with the heat, enjoy the heat for this other reason, and that is getting your gear ready, especially if you're somebody that's going to be packing in and thinking about tenting it out there when you do your hunt this fall. And the reason why we're bringing this up is Tigger and I, we do a lot of R&D, meaning research and development on our gear. And we were astonished to find out
Maybe
that
we should change that to research and decisions on our gear. we
There you
found
go.
out a lot of things that we didn't think was going to be the case.
Well, as we are aging, we've realized we may not be as spry as we were when we were in our early 20s and sleeping on the ground, and different mats that were or were not working for us. I'll put that as politely as I can for Tigger
Hold
and
on.
I.
Why don't you just let me tell the story
Yes,
on
please do.
this one? We have been wanting to, and we enjoy hiking and backpacking a lot. We love camping. We love doing all that. But what we found, and we did a lot of research on like air mattresses, and we were trying to, look for durability, and we were looking at R factor, lightweight, and all of those sorts of things, and that we don't lose body heat through our backs and all of that. Well, what we found is that we don't like sleeping on the ground as much as we thought that we would.
Or we used to.
We were planning some different backpacking trips where we would backpack in for several days, and we would have all of our gear with us. And after doing several different attempts, we kind of said, you know what, this may not be for us, especially because you and I are both side sleepers, and we were having a hard time finding something that's comfortable.
And we'll be honest, it's kind of hard to say, as we age and grow, and what we find is comfortability. That's not a word, but as what we find is what we can.
What are you willing to give up?
There you go, sacrifice.
What are you willing, and some people, it's all about the experience and the
Yes.
fun. And you used to very much be that way. You were nothing or 90. You
Oh,
didn't
gosh.
care if you were sleeping in the middle of a tornado. It was all for the experience.
I
And
have
now
slept-
you're wanting a little bit more comfort, and you're finding out where I can't move as fast as I used to when I was 19, 20 years old, and that I need to take care of my body a little bit. So I think we need to pay attention to our bodies of what we can and we can't handle.
He's exactly right. I used to be somebody that would go in on horseback. I've tented. I've slept on the ground underneath just a tarp tied to trees. And now all of a sudden at this age, I'm going, oh boy, this is hard getting up off the ground. I think I need a cot.
Exactly right. It's hard getting off the ground and crawling on your hands and knees out of that tent. We found that that's more of a burden for us than, say, now we're upgrading a little bit and we're saying, okay, maybe we need to sacrifice a little bit, and we need to replan our trips of what we're going to do based on how we're going to set up base camp.
So what we are saying is be like Tigger and I and actually preparing. And I'm taking a feather out of Tigger's hat because I am a 90 or nothing and tend to not do this. And I'm learning now as it's biting me in the butt, literally.
Every single time.
Oh, fine, I'll let you have that one. But yes, there is a lot to be said on the type of trip because let's be real, it is expensive to do any of this stuff that we are doing, whether it's hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, backpacking. It's
Horseback
expensive.
stuff, it doesn't matter.
And you need to have the gear that's going to work for you. It's not the gear that everybody's telling you, because you can read a million blogs, watch a million YouTube videos, but you actually need to try it yourself and find out what works for you and your body.
And the easiest thing that we've done, you don't have to plan a trip. You don't have to go into the wilderness to test this. We're doing it in our backyard.
Yes.
I mean, we're shutting down the tractor. We're finishing what we're doing. we've got all of our gear organized, and just literally in a few minutes, we've got this and this set up, and we are simulating like here we are, and we're finding out this pack works or this pack doesn't work or this one rubs or all those different things before you start going on your annual elk hunting trips, and we start hiking in the mountains and all those things, and we're 100 miles from nowhere, and we realize this is not fun with blisters or whatever the case may be.
And when you're looking even at your backyard, now you're looking at it, okay, well, my backyard isn't going to be like the mountains of Colorado where there might be rocks, and good luck finding a smooth, flat area that doesn't have any of those obstacles. We've even set up our tents right on our road in front of our house.
That's exactly right.
In our own driveway.
Exactly. Then you get kind of a feel for it. And you find out where to spend money and not spend money.
There you have it. We'll be back with more of The Bend, as you figured out, you never know what's coming up next. Stay where you are. The Bend will be right back.
Everyone asks me, Tigger, where do you get your boots? What do you look for in boots? Well, for me, it's customer service and American-made boots and tack. Medora Boot and Western Wear takes care of everything I need. You can shop online at medoraboot.com or follow along Facebook and Instagram. Give Medora Boot and Western Wear a call and tell them Tigger sent you. Medora Boot and Western Wear, making boots great again. Hashtag Tigger approved.
Hey guys and gals, this is John Arman with Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV travels the back roads to the backwaters in pursuit of the ultimate adventure in hunting and fishing. Join Team UOA every week for exciting action in the crosshairs of the outdoors. Catch Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV on YouTube, Amazon Prime, and make sure to follow Team UOA on Facebook and Instagram to share in the ultimate outdoor adventure.
The hunt is planned, the guide is booked, the trip is blocked off in the calendar, but one huge detail remains, preserving that trophy, creating a memory that will last a lifetime. Little Rack Taxidermy has that fast, friendly service to fulfill your taxidermy in a timely, professional manner. Reach out to Heather with Little Rack Taxidermy through Facebook at Little Rack Taxidermy or send an email to heatherjoe23@hotmail.com. Little Rack Taxidermy, bringing back the natural look.
Shooting ducks, skinning bucks, I'm a hunting princess in a pickup truck.
Welcome back to your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle news, The Bend Show. I am your host, Rebecca Warner, a.k.a. Beck, and riding shotgun, as always, is Jeff Tigger Earhart. Now, I am calling this segment again this week, Here's What's Cooking with Beck. I've coined a new segment. You like it? I hope you do. Well, there has been a latest TikTok trend, and it involves lemonade. And what are we doing with lemonade, you ask? We are marinating chicken.
Oh!
How do you like that
twist? I thought you were talking about a new fancy drink. I saw a reel on this, which was pink lemonade marinating chicken.
Yes!
And I was this sounds genius to me.
Well, I hate to tell you this, Tigger. I did give this a whirl the other night when I had girls' night. Sorry, I didn't save you a drumstick. But I can tell you it was good, and it was super easy to make, okay? So here you go. All you need is a can of concentrated frozen lemonade, and you know that lemonade is cheap, right? And get this, it's a 5-minute prep with only 5 ingredients. So here we go. Using a thawed can of lemonade concentrate, that means, you know, that frozen lemonade has to be unthawed so it's running in a liquid state, right? Just making sure we're clarified there. Do the same with your chicken. You will want that chicken not frozen. And use whatever you like, breasts, thighs, wings, drummies, or all. Just need to make sure the meat is not frozen. Now, back to the marinade. In a gallon-sized Ziploc bag or sealable container, mix together these simple ingredients that almost everyone has in their home. Here we go, 5 ingredients. About 2 pounds of raw chicken, a can of thawed lemonade concentrate, as I said, a half cup of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon seasoned salt. Bonus, if you like to add a little more heat or kick to your meat, just add some black pepper while you're cooking. All right, toss all these ingredients in that container, including the chicken, mixing it, tossing it well, massaging it into the meat, and make sure you let it sit in the refrigerator for at least an hour. It can be left longer if you so desire. Then here's the other trick. Make sure your grill is hot. Throw that chicken on there, then turn the grill way down to cook it, and there you have it. Make sure you cook the chicken to an internal temp of 180 degrees. degrees. Yummy. Enjoy lemonade marinade grilled chicken. Let's call this show wrapped. Thank you to my producer, sound engineer, co-host, the guy that rides along with me shotgun each and every week, Jeff Tigger Earhart. And a big thank you to Travis Theel from Buckstorm Hunts Guide and Outfitter. Be sure to subscribe to his popular YouTube channel, Buckstorm. Remember, folks, to keep sending in those questions as well as your area's field reports. The number again is 305-900-2363. Again, remember, call or text us at 305-900-2363, or you can always send an email to bendradioshow@gmail.com. If you missed part of this episode or you want to hear past shows, you can find them all on the website, thebendshow.com, and be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting app as well as to the Bend Show YouTube channel. If you're looking to change things up for your next event, especially this fall is right around the corner, awards, banquets, etc., think about having us, Tigger and Beck, entertain your crowd. We would love to meet you and we can talk about everything and anything under the sun. Thank you to our partners, Ditelli Outdoors, About You Photography, Buckstorm, Little Rack Taxidermy, Mickey's Mustard, Atlas Tracks, RFD TV, and Wrangler. Finally, a big thanks to all of you listeners out there that came along, and whether you're coming or going today, stay with us as we ranch it up. And remember to keep up with me, Beck, all week long by following The Bend Show on Facebook and on Instagram at The Bend Show. This is Rebecca Warner. Catch Beck if you can next week on The Bend.